everyone, and yes, this is another patch note. Today we're going to see, to run down actually the patch note 5.2. So let's begin. So blah 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 blah, introduction, okay. So now they removed the famous Deathfire Grasp. I'm actually too lazy to read all the text that they wrote, but I guess that's because it was adding too much power to bursty mages. Okay, but they say that they are going to see how they would tweak other items to compensate for this. So it has been removed. Overlapping crowd control effect, it has been improved, I believe, or it's being delayed. So it was talked in the previous patch note. Now when you are in stealth mode, you can now attack move, because before, when you were in stealth mode, you could only move if you ordered a attack move command. It would only move and not attack the first target close to you, but now it will. So overall, Tristana, she got attack speed nerfs. She's a bit less tanky. But you will understand why she got a bit of a attack speed nerf over level growth stat, if I must say. It's because of her new E. We'll jump straight to that one. So now she got the same passive on her E as before. So like when you kill a minion, it's going to explode and deal splash damage. But now your active is you put basically a mark on a turret or a target. And after attacking that target 4 times, it's going to explode and basically deals damage to that target and also deals some splash damage. And yes, also if you don't hit 4 times, it's basically like a ticking bomb. So after 4 seconds, it will also detonate. But know that every time you hit it, up to 4 times, it increases the damage by 25%. So after a while, if you hit it 4 times, it's going to be 100% more damage, which is a lot. And now if we go back to her passive, she gets 2 flat range less per level, which is like 36 range at max level, at level 18. That's a lot. That's pretty significant. It is going to make her less safe. And it is going to force her to position better in team fights. They did not change her Q. Also, the rocket job got changed. They basically nerfed the AP ratio, and also they nerfed the damage in the late game, but buffed the ones in the early game. But trust me, this is going to be just fine because of the new E that will basically give her way more damage than before on her W. But remember that if you W in, it's going to be more risky than if you stay out of it. And also they nerf her AP ratio on her ultimate, so they basically don't want any AP Tristana anymore. Well, you could see some, but it's not going to be flavor of the month anytime soon. Ahri, they remember that they removed Deathfire Grasp, so Ahri got a big nerf. Well, overall, just in itemization. Her Q now gives her a big movement speed after while she throws it and like while it's traveling. So it will allow her to poke more safely, because she's going to be able to throw a Q and just run away, or like throw a Q and then move forward towards you. So it is going to open room for more maneuver to Ares. For the W, they fixed, like it's more responsive now. And also the damage, they buffed the damage slightly. You will understand why they buffed the damage after I read the charm. So for the W, it's basically that the number changes. So now it no longer gives 20% more damage. So the additional number that you can, like the more 10 damage, more 15 damage, etc. It is actually more than 20%. So this is like 25%, and this is around like 21-ish%. So overall, removing this will only affect the ultimate and the Q. And also the Deathfire Grasp involves every single skill of Ahri. And also they buff the damage, and they buff the AP ratio, so this is going to be good. This is a bit less than 50% more of AP ratio, so it's pretty good. More forgiving. Akali. Okay, so they nerf. They took out her procking, her E procking her Q. Sorry. So this is going to give her way less fast burst damage, if I may say. It is going to force her to use another auto attack to proc her Q instead of her E. And this 100 range less for Akali is pretty significant. It is going to open room for more aggressiveness to play against Akali, because she will have less range to dash on you if you want to run, or like if you're chasing her and she has to jump to a minion. So this is going to force Akali to think way more than before. Well, not way more, but it is going to make a difference between good Akalis and great Akalis. Okay, so going to Annie, this is definitely a buff to Annie after level 6, because people don't usually max Molten Shield pre-6 anyway. So you can see that they remove 10 armor and magic resist every level, so it's not gonna be that much of a deal. But the interesting thing is that it now gives Tibbers, when Tibbers is summoned and she activates her E Molten Shield, it gives Tibbers a 300 movement speed, decaying over 0.75 second. So this is going to allow Tibbers to outrun your opponent and potentially hit like 2 or 3 times more your opponent, even though it's 0.25 second. It means that Tibbers will be able to go through that opponent. I mean, like over that opponent. So that person will have to run towards Tibber anyway. So it is going to make Tibbers way more effective against people that are running away. Blah blah blah. Oh, and yeah, he's also more tanky. Why not? Blah blah blah. So they fixed the indicator on Azir's Q range. It is not reflecting the real range that it's supposed to be written. And also they fixed this, which is going to be something really good for Azir, because the way the Q worked before, it's pretty complex. You should, if you want to see how it worked before, you can look it up online, but it's pretty complex. But basically now the last sand soldier that you summon will go towards where you click. So this is going to make Azir's damage way more reliable. Some pretty well deserved mana cost nerfs for Cassiope. She was spamming those spell way too much, and also her Twin Fang gives back mana if you kill a minion, I think. Well, if you kill a target, I think. So moving on to Fizz. Fizz is being hit pretty hard on this patch. Some pretty big nerfs to his Q. You can already see that he got 50% less ratio on his Q. It is a lot. That's huge, and also you can see the base numbers are pretty lower than before in the late game. So this is going to nerf his damage quite a bit. The way they changed the W makes it that he has to choose carefully when he procs his W now, like whether you use it to CS or if you use it to harass champions. Because before you could use it to CS, it was pretty easy. Because before it would apply damage on based on missing health on the target, so it was easy to CS with it, because like low health minions were pretty easy to kill with that. But now you would have to activate it, so you can't activate it to damage champions anymore. But after all those the change to W and this big nerf to his Q, they will amplify Fizz's damage towards the target who is being chumped. So it is going to make Fizz more like a single target burst if he succeeds in his landing his ultimate. So let's say Fizz lands his ultimate on somebody. He will be able to burst that person down, but after that he won't get this 20% bonus damage on that person anymore. So he won't be able to deal as much damage as before. So it makes him more of a single target burst. He was already a single target burst, but this is going to force him to be only able to burst somebody down unless he's pretty hella fed. But the ratios got really nerfed. Well, 100%, like they removed the ratio here. So now people will have to choose more carefully who they target. For Kha'Zix, well, it's nothing. Nidalee can now hunt neutral monsters, so it's going to make her escape in the jungle way more efficient because she will be able to leap way further with this change. Rek'Sai, some pretty well deserved number tweaks. I feel like the W cooldown buffs might change the way some Kha'Zix build or the like the skill order that they'll level up. So we will have to see how this goes. But I think the number tweaks are pretty well deserved. He is really strong still. Okay, so fix scatter the weak. So now it is more easy to, well, a bit more easy to stun with it because they nerfed the width of it pretty hard last patch. They tuned down Zed to be able to match other assassins like Fizz and Ahri because, well, he would be like picked and banned 100% of the time if not. So mass texture rebalance, who cares? So now the tier 2 jungle item went up by 100 gold, but everything else that was upgraded from that went down by 100 gold. So what this is going to do is it's going to force junglers to stay a bit more in the jungle if they want the same item as before on their first recall. So this is going to affect basically their first recall. Either now the recall and they don't buy the pink or the ward and the pots as like before, or they stay longer in the jungle and, well, it's a trade that you have to do now instead of like being able to just recall and buy tons of stuff. Okay, 100% gold cheaper, it's okay there. Nobody cares about this. This is pretty good. For people that do not build tenacity, this is pretty good. Okay, so this is a big buff to late game tanks like Cho'Gath or Malphite or maybe even Rammus. This is going to allow late game tanks to be able to survive the early game and make the transition way better than before. So this is a pretty big buff to late game tanks. This might be a compensation for Akali because it's going to be better on her AP wise. Rod of Ages, blah 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 blah. Okay, so not that much. Okay, so we will have to see if you are able to clear the ward in the bottom lane as two people, like the support and the AD carry would automatically just clear out the ward that the other support just put. We'll see if it's still possible. I think not, since they say it was a fixed bug. So okay, ZZ's portal is, well, basically it's more like the other things in the game, like turrets or minions. It collides with Poppy's heroic charge and other stuff like that. And also the stats are pretty interesting. So the void spawns, it is going to be more balanced, I think, because void spawns are basically like other minions, right? So it would make it harder for AP carries to kill them because their auto attack is not that much. So they would have to use their spells, but using the spells on AP carry is not the same thing as using auto attacks on AD carries because you don't really have a cooldown on auto attacks except for like maybe your attack speed. But using spells for AP carries is something that you have to manage, and it is way harder than managing auto attacks. So this is a good thing to change. They got pretty tankier, and also now it's every 4th minion that receives 100% of the champion's magic resistant armor. So on a full tank, this is pretty good. Jagan. So Jagan has a 500 range instead of 350 now. 500 is a bit less than most of AD carries, so he will not move that much from the pit if you hit him. Well, if you were in range AD carry and you were hitting him from outside the pit. So now it is going to make taking dragons a bit more risky because when you are on the purple side, meaning the top left, the top right part of the game, because you will now not be able to pull him out of the pit as easily as before. We'd have to test to see how easy it is to pull him out, but I think it's not gonna be as easy as before. So DKs for rank team, pretty good. Nemesis, this is pretty interesting. It's aside from Earth, this is I think a mod, another featured game mode that I would play. In-game mode settings, so bug fixes. Okay. Why anything interesting? Blah 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 blah. Not much. So thank you guys for tuning in to this new patch note. Some pretty good changes in this game. Some pretty well deserved number tweaks also. And so basically, overall, this patch is all about. Well, it's mostly about the assassins. So thank you. If you like the video, you can subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, share it with other people so they don't have to read the patch note, and stay tuned for other videos. Thanks.